Welcome to Sculpture Studios. If you've ever ventured over to our main website, we have a section on our portfolio called Unusual Advertising, and something tells me that's exactly the place for this project. We're working once again with Boutique Whitening for the annual Dentistry Show at the NEC in Birmingham. Inspired by a sort of Arabian Nights meets Moscow St Basil's Cathedral, we're creating some decorative palace roof-toppers to help bring the stand to life with some good old-fashioned, eye-catching theming. Much like the giant Hulk hands that we created for them last year, this event is very much about standing out, and if simply your own pearly whites aren't quite doing the job, well, better commission some 3D commercial sculpture. These are just going to be created from polystyrene with a water-based plaster and an emulsion paint finish. Notice how the word just was used there. Well, as usual, this isn't a just kind of project, and there's always a lot more to it than first meets the eye. Beginning with a turntable for the smaller pieces, by which this was originally created from an old washing machine that Aden converted, and how this motor is still going after almost 30 years, well, that just goes to show how things were built to last back in the day. Polystyrene is blocked out and cut using handheld hot wires and a hot wire table, adhered together using polyurethane expanding foam, and without a CNC cutter in sight, just some skilled hands. Once again, not simply a just. We're trying to utilise as much of each of our polystyrene blocks as possible, using offcuts where appropriate for new shapes to maximise the amount of material and minimise the waste. With forms like these where the sculptures are pretty much geometric shapes, it's easy to tell even by eye when something isn't quite right, so it's important that we take the time to get these as neat as possible. The advantage of using polystyrene or styrofoam across the pond is you can see how quickly we can bring these forms into reality from what was simply a few images and dimensions on a page. For the larger pieces, and I'm talking significantly larger pieces, these are going to be created with a slice-by-slice hot wire cutting route rotating around the clock, and plenty of hand carving all round for Aden.
Hi guys, Liam and myself cut out this big form by doing a mark here and here, spinning it around the segment and cutting a flat off, as you saw in the video just now. Spinning it around again, doing a mark here and here, and keep going, taking a flat and a flat all the way off. Now I'm going to go over with a saw and create nice forms. A nail brush, nothing clever, nothing too sophisticated, just a lot of hard work. And then wire brushes after that, just smoothing it down, and then I'll probably glue a piece of sandpaper or glass paper onto a glove, so I'm not trying to hold it. I slide my hand in the glove and I can polish the whole thing. It's just a bit of elbow work now, so let's get starting. Keep me fit. Okay, just finished with the nail brush, on this side anyway. There's a few little flats on it, but not to worry, I'll slowly blend them. Just treated myself to a brand new wire brush, and people think that a wire brush is going to last you years and years on polystyrene, but it doesn't, because all the scratching and pulling, and the wires, believe it or not, get slightly warm and they come out, and the heads come off them because you used the points a lot more than the rest of it. But cut down the wood and you end up with a small short wire brush, but they're all handy. but it's good to start with a brand new one and everything's nice and sharp. So let's see how we get on with that. Okay, we've been through the nail brushes and the wire brushes. Now I'm going to use this whole edge here as a saw, and I can flex it, and that gives me good form across the whole shape. And instead of just using small areas and cross hatching with the wire brush, I can go big areas. Gives me a nice form across the whole thing. Quite good. And you can use an old saw, because as long as you scratch it at a slight angle like that and not that, it works quite well.
So we're creating a total of 7 pieces. The 2 smallest are only about 1 metre wide, the next size up is about 1.7 metres, 3 at 2 metres wide, and the big daddy piece at about 2.4 metres in total diameter, standing at just under 3 metres tall. Everything needs to be carved and sanded down to a good finish, and then we go over with a water-based plaster filler, the same kind of product that you can pick up from a home construction store for filling minor plaster blemishes on your interior wall. This allows us to sand back to a smooth finish, and though this isn't a super durable end result, the fact that these are only going to be used for a couple of days, kept up high and away from any public traffic, it means it's a perfect, cost-effective solution for the client.
Okay, I've come in today, it's Easter Sunday. I came in yesterday on my own as well, and it's great when I come in on my own because I can just concentrate on the things that I want to do, rather than being distracted by people and phone calls and other things. But I've taken this on for a client, and it's a particularly tight deadline. Although the whole thing's polystyrene painted, I don't want to let them down. Or in actual fact, I don't want to let any client down, and in the past 35 years I haven't done so far, so I'm particularly proud of that, as well as doing the job. I may even come tomorrow, which will be Easter Monday, and then the rest of the team will join me on Tuesday and help me sand them down and plaster them. So yeah, I'll just carry on scratching. This here should take me about 8 hours to clean up and scratch together, and may even get time to plaster it as well. So yeah, I'm all right, I'm happy, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I've got my work, so let's go.
There we are, just a sculptor and his nail and wire brushes. With polystyrene carving being one of Aden's favourite things to do, his passion has always been to bring works of art into the 3D world, mainly on a large-scale basis like this. These videos that we put together are very much a way in which we can demonstrate to old and new clients how sculptures like this might be achieved, and of course to showcase our work and what goes on in the studio to all of you guys who are watching at home, at work, on the train, or winding down in bed before sleep, or wherever you happen to be. The responses we receive online from our YouTube channel and emails that come in as a direct response to one of our videos encourages us to post more and more. But as we put these together very much off of our own backs, and these videos aren't part of an official project, a lot of the support for our channel actually comes from our Patreon page. We have a small but growing number of loyal followers that have joined our Patreon program and kept our family-run studios channel going, and we can't thank you enough for the support and dedication that you've shown so far. By all means, and no pressure whatsoever, but if you're someone who enjoys our videos on a regular basis and the projects that we take on in the studio, why not take a look at our Patreon program, and it would be very greatly appreciated. As with many old friends and family members, often when we have a visit to the studio, people can't help but want to get involved, and so this video here is proof that they can say they were part of the project, so thank you very much to Stephen Bates on this occasion. As well as our usual crew, very infrequently we do have a few extra hands of enthusiastic students and people entering the industry for sometimes a week or two on whatever project we're working on. A side note to anyone out there that is looking for work, we do apologise in advance that we actually have very little to offer in terms of placement, and we get numerous emails every week, so don't be disheartened. It's tough out there, and Aden knows firsthand just how difficult it is starting out for the first time in the art world.
Right, Doug. Thank you for joining us here today. Can you tell us what you're up to there?
Just sanding off the rest of the filler to get into these like fine little corners. Get all the detail looking lovely.
Yeah, it comes off quite soft.
Really easy. Yeah. Nice and smooth.
Yeah, nice one.
Water-based emulsion paints are used after the plaster filler has been completely sanded down, by which the client literally said, do what you like. As long as they're bright and vivid, you've got free rein, so here we are. Speaking of the client, we'd very much like to take a moment to thank Prem from Boutique Whitening for coming to us after the success of last year's sculptures for another project. Hopefully this is a sign that they're making a bit of a name for themselves in their 3D exhibition stands, and who knows, maybe someone else from the show will see this, wondering where they had them made. A bit of a last minute design change, or rather something new that had to be addressed, was the fact that these larger pieces, which are currently hollowed out and currently have an open bottom, they have no guarantee of a perfectly flat, even base at the other end to put them on, and so new bases need to be installed into the existing shapes. Fortunately, we do have the time, the manpower and the offcuts to be able to get this done and installed for them, but still, I cannot tell you how many blankets we had to put down to ensure that we don't mess up the artwork when we roll them over. With everything about complete here in the studio, it's time for these to be very carefully collected and transported up to the NEC in Birmingham for the 2025 UK Dentistry Show. Having a good online presence nowadays is essential to a successful business, but for something like an event like this, an online presence can only get you noticed so far. And what better way to draw attention and inspire some online social media posts than something bold and large scale to draw the eye. We'd very much like to thank Prem once again for coming to us with another great concept, and we very much look forward to seeing what you have in mind for next year. We always love hearing what you guys at home think of our projects and our channel, so please feel free to drop a comment below, and by all means subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date on our latest videos. A big thank you once again to all of our patrons who support our projects and the creation of our videos. We love having you guys on board, and if you'd like to support our family run studio, you can find our Patreon details below. However big or small, it's greatly appreciated from all of us here at Sculpture Studios. Thank you very much for watching.